Everyone, myself Professor Khemchin Surana from the Department of Pharmaceutical Chemistry. Today we will discuss about the cephalosporin, okay, which is what beta-lactam antibiotics. So in last session we have started with the beta-lactam antibiotics and we have seen the penicillins. Now today we will go through about the cephalosporins, okay. So here is the what introduction of your cephalosporin, okay. So cephalosporin is what a group of antibiotics, okay, which is we can call it is what broad spectrum antibiotics, okay. Originally these were isolated from what the product of fermentation from the fungus Cephalosporium acromonium, okay, which is called as a cephalosporin, okay. So this is what isolated from what the fungus species, okay. The species name is the Cephalosporium acromonium, okay. The main product being is what Cephalosporin C, okay. Once whatever the fungus source, that is what the Cephalosporium acromonium, okay. From that the inventors were get the mixture of this cephalosporin, in that the main product name as what Cephalosporin C, and the molecular modification of these cephalosporin C gave the origin to semisynthetic substances. Further from whatever this cephalosporin C, which is main component or the main product, okay, from that on this molecule there is what molecular modification has been going on and different semisynthetic cephalosporin has been synthesized, okay. Again, as we know, these are what beta lactam antibiotics, okay, with same fundamental structural requirement as like your penicillins, okay. Whatever the as like penicillin, okay, as we know the beta lactam ring is necessary, okay. Then carboxyl group will be necessary, then acyl amino side chain is what necessary. So these are what the necessities for the your cephalosporin as like your penicillins, okay. But the main difference between the two of these beta lactam antibiotics, that is what cephalosporin and penicillin, is that basically the cephalosporin contains the dihydromethathiazine ring, okay. So in case of cephalosporin the main necessity is what your beta lactam ring is as like your penicillin, and the other difference is what your dihydromethathiazine ring, okay, in case of cephalosporin. And already as we know, in case of penicillin that ring is what thiazolidine ring, or we can also call as tetrahydrothiazole ring, okay. So in case of cephalosporin there is what dihydromethathiazine ring will be there, and in case of penicillin there is what thiazolidine ring will be there. That is what the difference between these penicillin and cephalosporin beta lactam antibiotic. So now today again we have to move the some basics about the cephalosporin. So the as already we have seen the difference between these cephalosporin and penicillin, okay. Now the again some points has been given over here, so from that we can differentiate these cephalosporin and penicillin, okay. So cephalosporin are what much more acid stable, okay, than the corresponding penicillin, okay. This is one more difference. So cephalosporin are what more acid stable than penicillin, okay, and also having a mechanism of action as like your penicillin, okay. So mechanism of action is also what similar to penicillin, but they were mainly inhibiting the cross linking of peptidoglycan unit into the bacterial cell wall by inhibiting the transpeptidase enzyme, okay. So as we know, the penicillin will inhibit these transpeptidase enzyme, okay, by binding to the PBB, okay, means penicillin binding protein. But here is what they were mainly inhibiting by the cross linking of peptidoglycan unit, okay. So NAM and NAG, as we know, the NAM is what N-acetylmuramic acid and N-acetylglucosamine. So these are what two peptidoglycan units, okay. So how they were act basically, they will inhibit the cross linking of these peptidoglycan units into the cell wall by inhibiting the transpeptidase enzyme, okay. So however, they bind to what? Target protein. Okay, as we know, the in case of penicillin, they were bind to the PBP. Okay, means penicillin binding protein. But in case of cephalosporin, these were bind to what? Your target proteins only. Okay, so this is what the some difference between the cephalosporin and penicillins. Okay, from that we can differentiate it. Okay. So cephalosporin again can be divided into what? Three basic classes. Okay, so as we know, the whatever the mixture, the inventors get the mixture of this cephalosporin, it contained the mixture of different cephalosporin. Okay, in that, so they were divided into what? Three classes. Okay, so first is what? Your cephalosporin N. Okay, second is what? Your cephalosporin P, and third is what? Your cephalosporin C. So cephalosporin N is what? Your, it has what? Penicillin like structure. Okay, being a derivative of 6 amino penicillinic acid. Okay, so whatever the penicillin N having what? The structure like your penicillin, and it is what? Derivative of 6 APA, 6 amino penicillinic acid. Now second is what? Your cephalosporin P. So cephalosporin P is what? Your acidic antibiotic, and which is steroidal in nature. Okay, whatever the structure of this cephalosporin is what? Steroidal nucleus will there, and which is what? Acidic antibiotic. Now next is what? Your cephalosporin C. Okay, that we can call it as what? True cephalosporin, because it is what? The main component of this cephalosporin. So it is what? True cephalosporin, and it is the derivative of 7 amino cephalosporanic acid, or in short we can call 7-ACA. Okay, so cephalosporin C is what? Your true cephalosporin, because of it is main component and it is the derivative of 7-ACA. Okay, so now here is what? The some generalization formulas for cephalosporin. Okay, so in case of cephalosporin C, okay, so it contains what? Side chain derived from the D alpha amino adipic acid, which is attached to 7 amino cephalosporinic acid. Okay, so whatever this cephalosporin C, which contains what? Side chain, you can see into the structure. Okay, here the side chain will be there. Okay, so this side chain is from what? D alpha 7 amino adipic acid. Okay, and which is attached to the 7 amino cephalosporinic acid. That is what the main structural unit of this cephalosporin. So in case of cephalosporin N, so as we know, it is what? The derivative of penicillin. Cephalosporin N is what? Your derivative of penicillins. Okay, so whatever the structural unit of this cephalosporin N is what? Penicillinic acid. Here is what? The structure of penicillinic acid has been given. So next is what? You are about cephalosporin P. Okay, the compounds which are structurally similar to cephalosporin C, we can call it as what? Fusidic acid. Okay, fusidic acid, and here is what? The structure of cephalosporin has been given. The structure is what? Your steroidal nucleus is what? Your basic structure in case of cephalosporin C, and here is what? The structure of cephalosporin C has been given. So now next we will discuss about what? The properties of cephalosporins. Okay, so these are what? The some properties of cephalosporins. So cephalosporin is what? Your broad spectrum antibiotic. Okay, as already we have seen into the introductory part, it is what? Broad spectrum class of these beta lactam antibiotic. They are what? Water soluble in nature, and having molecular weight of cephalosporin is near about 400 to 450 in between range. Okay, 400 to 450 gram. So relatively these are what? Stable to the pH. As we know, these are what? The acidic antibiotics also we can also call. So relatively these are what? Stable to the pH and temperature changes. Okay, then the nucleus of these cephalosporin is what? 7 amino cephalosporinic acid. So as in case of penicillin, we know the nucleus is what? Your 6 amino penicillinic acid, and in case of 7 amino, in case of this cephalosporin, 7 amino cephalosporinic acid. Okay, so why 6th in case of penicillin and 7 in case of cephalosporin? Okay, so in case of penicillin, whatever the thiazolidine ring, that is what 5-member ring, that's why at 6th position amino group will be came. And in case of cephalosporin, okay, so whatever the fuse ring, okay, we can call dihydrothiazine ring, that is what 6-member ring. So that's why the amino group were came to at 7th position. Okay, that's why 7 amino cephalosporinic acid. Their activity is not reduced by serum. Okay, and nucleus consists of what, your dihydrothiazine ring, which is fused to what, beta lactam ring. Already we have seen the structure. So beta lactam is what, your common structure which is necessary and which is fused to what, your dihydrothiazine ring. These cephalosporin basically ranges from what, very narrow spectrum to very broad spectrum. Okay, and 7 amino cephalosporinic acid has been modified by addition of different side chains to create whole family of cephalosporin antibiotic. Okay, as like your penicillins already we have seen. So at side chain, acyl amino side chain, we have substituted the different substituent and will get the number of derivatives of this penicillin. So similar to penicillin, so in case of this cephalosporin, so we'll get the different cephalosporin antibiotics by modifying their side chain. Okay, so these are what different properties of your cephalosporin. Now we'll discuss about the history. Okay, so how these cephalosporin has been discovered. So cephalosporin basically isolated from what, cephalosporin species. Okay, and also they were semi synthetically derived. Okay, means initially they have what, isolated from this cephalosporin species, and from that their semi synthetic derivatives has been prepared. So the first chemical compound of this cephalosporin were isolated from what, your Cephalosporium acromonium. Okay, that is what the species. From that these cephalosporin has been isolated, and cephalosporin producing fungus. Okay, this is what the Cephalosporium acromonium, that is cephalosporin producing fungus, and these were discovered by the scientist Giuseppe Broadzoe. Okay, Giuseppe or Giuseppe you can call or you can pronounce it. Okay, Giuseppe Broadzoe in 1948. Okay, so here is what the picture of this inventor or scientist given. He is from what, Italy. So now we will discuss about the brief about the history of this cephalosporin. Okay, so in early 90s, okay, early 19 so during the 1940, fungus was discovered which is grown into the severe waters and produces the compounds which causes the death to the bacteria. Okay, so in 1940s basically, so fungus has been developed on toward the severe water, or we can call the wastewater. Okay, so the area where the wastewater has been discarded, at particular into that area the fungus has been derived, and these fungus they will get to know which is what, causing death or killing to the bacteria. Okay, so in 1948, okay, actually whatever the cephalosporin has came to know, it is showing the antibiotic activity. So in 1948, whatever the extract of this fungus which is developed from last 8 years, means from 1940s. Okay, so the fungus Cephalosporium acromonium. Okay, or we can also the one we can also pronounce it was Acromonium chrysogenum. Okay, this is also one more species which shown to contain what, Cephalosporin P1. Okay, as we know, Cephalosporin P is what, your steroidal in nucleus, and which is having what, minimum antibacterial activity. Second is what, your Cephalosporin N, okay, which is penicillin derivative, and Cephalosporin C, which is main component of this cephalosporin. So from these fungus they will get these different compounds into the mixture. Okay, and which is called as a cephalosporin antibiotics. So further in 1961, okay, the structure of cephalosporin has been actually established. Okay, the structure of cephalosporin has been given over here. You can see the beta lactam ring. This is what the beta lactam ring, which is fused with the 6-member dihydrothiazine ring. Okay, and further the acyl amino side chain will be substituted at 7th position. Okay, at 8th position there is what ketonic group, and at 3rd position there is what this ester kind of fragment has been substituted. Okay, so this is what about your structure of your cephalosporin C. So now we'll move to the chemistry of cephalosporin. Okay, like your penicillins, the cephalosporins having also what your chemistry. So it is what again bicyclic system. Okay, as we know, which contain what 4-member beta lactam ring. You can see the 4-member beta lactam ring. Okay, which is fused to what 6-member dihydrothiazine ring. Okay, that's why it is called bicyclic ring system. So beta lactam ring has been fused to what your dihydrothiazine ring. The nucleus of most of cephalosporin is what your 7-amino cephalosporinic acid. So this 7-amino cephalosporinic acid is what main nucleus. So here is what the structure of 7-ACA means 7-amino cephalosporinic acid has been given. Also the structure of cephalosporin C has been given with numbering. So the sulfur has what the first number into the structure of your cephalosporin C. At 3rd position there is what your ester will be there. Okay, at 4th position there is what carboxyl group. In case of penicillin, at 3rd position carboxylic group where came, but in case of cephalosporin at 4th position this carboxyl group where came. Okay, then this is what dihydrothiazine ring. Okay, further the beta lactam ring will be there. At 7th position there is what acyl side chain, and at 8th position there is what ketonic group. So this is what the structure of your cephalosporin C and 7-ACA. Now there is what the possible modification. As we know, the initially what the cephalosporin C has been developed, and from these cephalosporin C onto the modification of onto this modification onto this cephalosporin C, you will get the different semi-synthetic derivatives of this cephalosporin. So what are the possible modifications onto these cephalosporin C? Okay, so there are, we can modify at basic 3 positions. Okay, first is what your 7-acyl amino side chain. Okay, you can see into the structure. Okay, at 7th position there is what acyl amino side chain will be there with R group. Okay, so at this position we can substitute the any kind of substituent and we'll get the different cephalosporin derivatives. Next is what your 3 uh, 3 acetoxymethyl side chain. Okay, at 3rd position you can see. Okay, in between 3rd and 4th position there is what unsaturated C double bond C bond will be there, and at 3rd position there is what your these acetoxymethyl group will be there, means ester kind of fragment will be there. Okay, so at this position we can also modify this cephalosporin C. And next is what your at substitution at C7 position. Okay, so in case of penicillin, as we know, whatever the position 5 and position 6 in that, these are what cis stereochemistry. Okay, cis isomerism stereochemistry. But in case of this cephalosporin C at 7 position we can substitute the particular substituent, so we will get the different derivatives of cephalosporin C. Okay, so this is what about the possible modification of cephalosporin C, so that we will get the different cephalosporin structures. Next is what the nomenclature of your cephalosporin. Okay, so here again as like your penicillin we have to discuss the nomenclature. First is what your chemical abstract system. Okay, so from as per your chemical abstract system, so the 5-thia-1-aza bicyclo. Okay, 420. Okay, this is what bicyclic name nomenclature system. Okay, 5-thia-1-azo bicyclo 420 octane. Okay, according to cephalothin. Okay, so cephalothin is what one example from this category. Okay, so according to this cephalothin, so it is named as what 3-acetoxymethyl 8-oxo 7-2-thioneal 2 acetamido 5-thia 1-azabicyclo 420 octane 2 carboxylic acid. Okay, this is what name. And second is what your CFIM derivatives, okay, or CFAM derivatives we can call. So CFAM is what the name given to unsubstituted bicyclic lactone ring. Okay, so here is what the structure of CFIM and CFAM has been given. So at third and fourth position, if the unsaturated bond will be present, we can call it as what CFIM. And in case of if the unsaturated bond is not present, we can call CFAM. Okay, so this is what about your nomenclature of your cephalosporin. Okay, now here is what the some structural features of your cephalosporin C. Okay, so the cephalosporin C is what similar to your penicillin, as we know. Only the difference is what 5-member and 6-member fuse ring system. However, with what 4-member lactone ring is present, and which is fused to what 6-member dihydrothiazine ring. Okay, cephalosporin C actually less potent than your penicillin G. Okay, penicillin G is more potent than your cephalosporin C, near about what 1/1000 times. Okay, however it has what equal activity towards gram positive and gram negative bacteria. Okay, so they are having what equal activity, okay, towards your gram positive and gram negative bacteria. Cephalosporin have a lower strain within the molecules, therefore they are more stable. As we know, into the introduction already we have discussed these cephalosporin having what most acid stable or stable at pH, okay, towards the acid, and also they were stable to the beta lactamase enzymes and having a less allergic reactions. Okay, so here is what the structure of cephalosporin C has been given. You can see, so 7 amino adipic side chain will be there, then 7 amino cephalosporinic acid, that is what the main nucleus we can call 7 ACA, beta lactam ring will be there, and dihydrothiazine ring will be there. Numbering has been given, the numbering starts from the sulfur as per your case system. Okay, here is what the sulfur as first preference and nitrogen having fifth preference. At fourth position there is what carboxyl group. So this is the structure of your cephalosporin C. Just draw this structure and practice it. Whatever the structures gone in the previous slides, all structure has to need to draw and practice them. So now we'll discuss about the biosynthesis of cephalosporin. Okay, as similar to your penicillin, cephalosporin also biosynthesized from what cysteine and valine amino acid. Okay, so cysteine and valine amino acid are also synthesizes the penicillin, and it is also synthesizes your cephalosporin C. So here is what your particular 7 ACA. Okay, with this your particular carboxylic acid and cysteine and valine, from these all components will synthesize, particular system will synthesize the cephalosporin C. Okay, so these are what different precursors of your cephalosporin C. Just draw these biosynthetic reaction and practice it. Next we'll move to the classification of cephalosporin. Okay, so cephalosporin basically classified into what the 4 generation: first, second, third and fourth. Okay, these generation were based on basically the time of discovery and spectrum of activity. Okay, so on the basis of time of discovery of these cephalosporin and their spectrum of activity, this cephalosporin has been classified. Okay, so first to fourth generation of these cephalosporin has been associated with what your activity against what your gram positive as well as gram negative. Okay, so and they are having what increased resistance toward your beta lactamase enzymes. So individuals of each generation is differ by your pharmacokinetic properties. Okay, so different generations whatever we have to discuss, they were differ. How they were differ? Basically they will differ by their pharmacokinetic properties. Okay, such as half life and plasma protein binding. Okay, with minimum differences in structures. Okay, so by these basic pharmacokinetic properties, these different generations of cephalosporin has been differentiated. So here we'll discuss about the some clinically used cephalosporin. Okay, so before that, here basic structure has been given. At 7th position there is what, acyl amino side chain with R1 substituent. Okay, just draw this cephalosporin structure, okay, and practice it. So the first generation of cephalosporin is what, basically these drugs are having what, highest activity against gram positive bacteria and lowest activity against gram negative bacteria. So first generation cephalosporin are having what, highest activity against gram positive and lowest activity against gram negative. Okay, second generation is what about, they are these drugs are having what, more active against gram negative bacteria but less active against gram positive bacteria than the first generation. Okay, so means uh, as we compare with these first generation and second generation, okay, so highest activity in case of positive bacteria, okay, in case of whatever first generation, but more activity in case of your cephalosporin, means what, vice versa. Okay, in these first generation and second generation. So in second generation, more active against whatever gram negative and less active against whatever gram positive. Okay, so next is what, your third generation. Okay, so these are what drugs, these are less active against less active than what, your first generation drugs against your gram positive. Okay, so as we compare the third generation and first generation cephalosporin, so these third generation are what, less active than your first generation. Okay, against your gram positive organisms, but much more expanded spectrum activity against your gram negative. Okay, so as per your gram positive they were less active, but in case of gram negative they are more expanded activity. Okay, means more active activity. Okay, so these are what the different generations where these were clinically used. So now here is what the specific classification of cephalosporin has been given. So different generations. Okay, again they were differentiated into what, different means route, based on the route of administration. So the first generation cephalosporin, okay, it will divided into what, again three subclasses based on their route of administration. Okay, so in first generation, so parenterally used cephalosporin are what, cephalothin, cephaloridine and cefazolin. Okay, these are three examples which is parenterally used first generation cephalosporin. Second is what, your oral first generation cephalosporin. Example is what, your cephalexin and cefadroxil. Okay, these are two examples, cephalexin and cefadroxil. Next is what, your miscellaneous. Okay, means oral, it can be used as a oral or it can be used as a parenteral. So example is what, your cifradine. Okay, cifradine. So this is the example. Now the second generation cephalosporin. So in case of second generation cephalosporin, the first is what, your parenteral. In examples of this parenteral cephalosporin is what, cefamycin, cefoxitin, cefotitan, cefometazole. Okay, these are different examples. And oral second generation are what, cefaclor and cefaprozil. Cefaclor and cefaprozil, these are two examples. Now third generation. So in case of third generation parenteral cephalosporin are what, cefotaxime, cefazidim, cefatriaxone. Okay, these are parenteral. Next is what, oral. So oral third generation cephalosporin examples are cefixime, cefdinir, ceftibutene. Okay, these are third generations. Fourth generation, in case of fourth generation, only the parental cephalosporin are available. So the cefepime and cifpirone. Okay, these are two examples which are parenterally used fourth generation cephalosporin. Last is what your fifth generation. So in that again the parenterally used cefatobipro, uh, uh, cefatobipro. Okay, this is what your fifth generation cephalosporin. So this is what about your classification of cephalosporin. Okay, so these different cephalosporin. So in next session we will discuss about the detail of every generation of these cephalosporin. Okay, so in that we have to look into the structures, okay, their SAR, mode of action, adverse effect, and some synthetic as well as chemical degradation part. Okay, so just draw the whatever the structures we have seen in today's session, okay, and practice them. Okay, so in next lecture we'll look to the forward. Till that, thank you and happy learning.